Yeah, this one's for the voices still waiting to be heard. For the stories that never made the news, we don't forget.
Yeah, face hits hard for the ones we missed. Stories in the shadows, justice on our list. Mowing coal, we don't let go, cause every heart deserves to be known. We rise up, truth on the line. Names in the dark still need to shine. This beats for the broken, for the lost, for the stolen. We speak to the silence is golden.
Another face on a flyer, another name in the code. But we bring warmth where the story's untold. Piece by piece, we rewind that frame. Chasing justice, not the fame. From small towns to the city lights, we keep that memory burning bright. It's more than a mystery, it's love, it's pain. We carry their truth through the rain.
Yeah, face hits hard for the ones we miss. Stories in the shadows, justice on our list. Mowing coal, we don't let go, cause every heart deserves to be known. We rise up, truth on the line. Names in the dark still need to shine. This beats for the broken, for the lost, for the stolen. We speak to the silence is golden.
See the faces, feel the ache. A family's hope that the world won't break. Every tear's got a reason, a name, a sound. And we'll keep searching till they're found. This community is more than a chat. It's hearts together, back to back. This healing starts when the truth unfolds. And every story deserves to be told.
Yeah.
For the mission, for the silence, for every name the world forgot. We remember.
Yeah, face hits hard for the ones we missed. Stories in the shadows, justice on our list. Mowing coal, we don't let go, cause every heart deserves to be known. We rise up, truth on the line. Names in the dark still need to shine. This beats for the broken, for the lost, for the stolen. We speak to the silence is golden.
Hey guys, how are we today? I'm so glad to see you all. We have Elizabeth, good to see you, and Brad and Hippie Chick. I'm so glad to see all you guys. I I'm so glad. I'm so very glad, Brad. I'm doing better than I was, you guys, but I haven't been doing well these past few weeks. That's why I haven't been live in a very long time. I lost my dad a few weeks ago, and it at first it was really, really, really bad. And I'm sorry to all of you that know what it's like. I really, really, really am. But you guys have been absolutely amazing during this time. And you could empathize well. So I'm sorry that you know what it's like, but I'm glad that we could discuss those things together. And I'm really, really thankful for the friends that I have here. I knew that my friends were great, but during times like this, you really, really, really know. And I wanted to show you guys what all my friends sent me. It's these absolutely beautiful, stunning flowers, and my uncle got me that box, and it says, "Our memories of love and laughter shall not fade, for inside our hearts you will always stay." And it's a really nice box, and I've been putting things in there that my dad gave me, and little mementos and such. And so that's been nice. And that that lantern has a cardinal on it, and somebody told me that it that's when you're lost. They believe that cardinals represent your lost loved ones, and I didn't know that, but I absolutely love it. And the candles that the battery candles that flicker like real candles, those are my absolute favorite, and it does that too. And so it's been really, really nice. Hey, Erin, good to see you. And Vanessa, good to see you. And Neat, all our people are coming in. I'm so glad to see you guys. It really, really means a lot to me that you guys are here, because not being live after a while and just coming back is hard anyways, but especially after this reason that you're not live, you know. um but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about a woman that was found deceased, and you guys, they're still not, from what I can see, they still haven't even called it a murder. And hey, Miss Robinson, good to see you. So good to see you guys. From what I can tell, they're still not even calling it a murder. And by what her dad says, there's absolutely no way. And you guys, there is this is not the first wife that has died by gunfire of Dr. Randall Bialis. So we're going to talk about that too. But let me go ahead and get everything pulled up here. Let me see here. There we go. Okay, and she's was an absolutely beautiful lady, you guys. And I don't know a whole lot about her earlier life, but I do know when she was 16, she gave birth to her, and he is fighting like crazy for her and her two babies that were. I think it's okay to go ahead and say that they were murdered, because it's been 2 weeks now, you guys. It's been 2 weeks, and I think that, and somebody else said this too, that if it was a murder suicide, cops are really quick to come out and say that, because they don't want the community scared, you know? So I think they're being really careful and not to spook the suspects that they have in their eyes. So I agree with that, that if it was a murder suicide, they would have just come out and said it already, you know? And so she had her first child, John, when she was 16. And they did go through some ups and downs, you guys. And I agree. John Lorden, he always does well on cases. And I love to watch him cover one that I'm going to speak about too, you know. And he said it like that we all go through ups and downs, you know, and it's good to learn from them. And when you look at Charity's Facebook now, it's all about the Lord and domestic violence awareness. And so she turned her life around, you know. But I just wanted to speak about that, because John Lorden says that she was incarcerated for a little while, and this is her son now. He's 20. People are saying he's 24, but he was born in 2002, so I think he's 23. But you can tell they had he had lived with her dad for a while too, and but he had gone back to live with his mama. And when his siblings were born, they're 6-year-old twins, you guys. Let me show you them. This is him when they were born, and it's Eliana and Maverick. And he said that he held them on the day they were first born, and he had shared yeah, Heather, Brad, that's what I think too. And he said he held them the day they were first born, and he shared videos with them with the news. And it looks like their last birthday or the one before this, so they had all been getting along as of recently. So that was really really good. And this is Randall Bialis. He's 56 years old and he is a doctor, and he graduated from Midwestern University Chicago College of Osteopathic Medicine. And from what I can tell, that means that besides the conventional medical training, they also look at holistic views and things like that. But he has 30 years of experience, and I believe it says that it says specializes in family medicine, hospital medicine, and other specialty medicine. So 30 years of experience. And one show said that him and Charity were actually married in 2012 and divorced. And this last time they got married in 2015, and they lived here. And she had so many pictures of her and the twins, you guys. Let me show you them. So cute. This is a side note, you guys, but remember when we had like the JC Penney catalogs and stuff like that, where you had to pick out your presents like that for Christmas? I would always look at the baby stuff, and I always wanted the real baby stuff for my baby dolls, you know. And so I would look at the little boy and the little girl stuff. I wanted the twin stuff always. I don't know why, but that just brought back my memory. But they were 6 years old when their lives were taken on December the 3rd. So 2 weeks ago now. But we have to talk about a few things before that. The family, they purchased this home in 2017, and look how far out it was, you guys. This is in a place called Bonanza, Arkansas, and it's really really small. I think some places said that the population was like 500. And so look how far out it was. I did get this on Zillow, but I think it would be wrong and a breach of their privacy to show the inside. I just wanted to show these because it shows in my mind that nobody, no rando is going to show up and kill a mother and her 6-year-old twins, you know? And they also had a gate. There, so that's another reason why I don't believe it was just a random person, you know. But before we get into December the 2nd, we have to talk about a few other things that happened. But let me show you this, you guys. I found this on Charity's Facebook too, and this was just in April, and it says, "Today is our twins' 6th birthday, filled with joy, laughter, and love, but there's also a quiet heaviness. The weight of who we once hoped you'd become still lingers. You hurt us, not because we weren't enough, but because of wounds in you that you wouldn't face. I know how hard it is to confront what's buried, to face pain instead of passing it on. Grieving the loss of the person we hoped you'd be feels like grieving a death. It's confusing. The betrayal cuts deep, and so does the letting go of what we once believed was possible. But I trust that God will guide us through this healing process, and only He knows whether you'll be part of that healing too. We needed you, and even now, I believe there's hope for everyone. I still pray for your repentance, for true healing, and for lasting change. Time will tell if you become who God created you to be. Only then you could be the kind of father our children deserve. Happy 6th birthday to Maverick and Eliana. God bless this day. Take away any pain we may feel today. Tomorrow we can heal. But today, me and the kids will celebrate their life with those we call friends and family." Well, if that don't make you cry. So that was in April, but we have to go back to something that happened in February. Randall was arrested, and it was for choking Charity in front of the children. And he was first charged with, well, it says right here, domestic battering purposely, endangering the welfare of a minor in the third degree. He got 2 of those charges, and aggravated assault on a family or household member choke. So this was in February. And in March, she filed for divorce. And there is the first page of the divorce that I wanted to read to you guys. I know, Heather, it looks like something on Gone with the Wind, doesn't it? It really does. Um, so this was from the first page of their divorce, and she's the one that filed for divorce on March the 5th. So maybe 2 weeks after, let me see when it was February 16th. So that happened on February 16th, but he wasn't charged until the 20th. That's already kind of showing favoritism, in my opinion, because if it was just a normal Joe Schmo, he would have been arrested the same day, you think. But so she filed this on March the 5th, and this is just the normal stuff. We're married on November 11th, 2015, and there are 2 children born of these parties in 2019. But down here, it says, number 7, that the court should find the joint custody presumption is not appropriate in this matter. The plaintiff believes that it is in the best interest of the minor children that she be awarded sole custody due to the following. The defendant is currently facing criminal charges related to domestic violence. As a result of said criminal charges, the defendant is currently under a court order no contact order, which prohibits any contact with the minor children and the plaintiff. So he wasn't allowed to see them. And I think all the way up until the court hearing, that was the day before they were found murdered, that that he hadn't been allowed to see them. So it says that the defendant has a history of domestic violence within the marital residence. I think this might have been the first charges that stemmed from that, but her dad, his name is Randy. So this is Randall, and then there's Randy. He said that she was beaten, and trigger warning, you guys. This whole live is a trigger warning. There's a lot of DV. He said that she had black eyes once and she was sore from head to toe. He does remember that time. So this wasn't the first time that he put his hands on her, allegedly, right? And it says that the defendant should not be ordered any visitation due to the current criminal case and no contact order. That if the defendant is ordered any visitation, then it should be ordered to be supervised at Steps, Fort Smith, Arkansas. Number 9, that the plaintiff requests the defendant submit to a psychological evaluation by a licensed mental health provider. That the defendant should be ordered to complete an anger management screening and follow any recommendations of said screener. That the defendant has a disclosed history of substance abuse, and based upon his recent behavior and criminal conduct, the plaintiff is under the information and belief that the defendant is abusing illegal substances, and requests that this court order the defendant to submit a fingernail clipping drug screening. Well, I didn't even know that was possible. I missed that earlier when I was reading this. I know that they could do hair and blood and stuff like that, but I had no idea about a fingernail clipping. It says that the child support should be addressed to the requirements set forth, that said child support should be based upon a non-joint custodial child support worksheet, and she's asking for spousal support. Let me see if there's anything else. And then it talks about property and things like that. But she's asking for a lot of things in the divorce. And this divorce was going on from March until the day before they were found murdered. But there's something else that I want to show you guys that I'd only seen on Nancy Grace. And I want to show you that video because it talks about a John said that where this no contact order was in place, that the kids felt better about telling Charity things that had happened. And especially the little boy, he had witnessed and been a part of more than things than the little girl, I think. But it was, she obtained something. It was an event that occurred on 3/31/25, and then a report was done by the Arkansas Crimes Against Children unit in July. And so I wanted to play that video for you guys. Um,
Let me go back to Charity's son, John, her oldest son, and her father, Randy, joining us tonight. I'd like to ask you gentlemen about a document from the Arkansas State Police Crimes Against Children Unit. Now, this document is sent to Eliana and Maverick Bialis in care of Charity, your mother, daughter. It's from a caseworker, Alora Perry, in Van Buren, and important, the date is this past summer, July 15, 2025. Name of the alleged victims, Eliana and Maverick Bialis. Those are the twins, now dead, shot dead. The name of the alleged offender is Randy Bialis, aka Dr. Bialis. It says the Arkansas State Police received allegations of child maltreatment involving the above. It was reported.
and wait until you hear what this says, you guys. She's going to tell you, but they say that there is a, like the RSO, the sex offender registry, that there is also, oh, it's just a few minutes, Brett. I think you can take it. There is also a registry for people that hurt children. And by the Arkansas Crimes Against Children unit, they say that Randall should be put on there. So, by what allegedly happened the day before in court, before they were murdered, I have no idea how that was allowed to happen. I'll tell you guys about that next.
On March 31, 25. Based on a preponderance of evidence, the agency deems the allegation to be true, and Dr. Bialis' name should be placed in the Child Maltreatment Central Registry. Let's put the document up on the screen. It states that the type of maltreatment was abuse, abuse with or without physical injury for both children, and abuse, threat of harm to the boy, Maverick. Did Charity ever confide in either of you, Randy or John, why this complaint was filed and why the allegations were deemed by a preponderance of evidence to be true by the Arkansas State Police Crimes Against Children unit? What happened?
That they conveyed to her some of what had happened, and she reached out for help, and they done a forensic interview with the children, and that was the outcome. It's about all I know to say. I'm pretty well mentally and physically exhausted.
So, how was, well, first I have to tell you guys what happened. So that was July. Now we get to October. And remember I told you guys that Randall, he had all of those charges from choking Charity in front of the children, and he did plead guilty to that. At first, he pleaded down, and he received a 1 year suspended imposition of sentence and was ordered to pay $1,500 and $150 in court fees. He was also ordered to have no contact with Charity or any members of her family unless authorized by a valid court order and only for visitation purposes. He was also ordered to complete a DV intervention program, and it says the judgment order shows that Charity approved the sentencing, which I don't know how true that would be. But It says, while the case was ongoing, Charity commented on an unrelated Facebook post in August of 2025, and this is what she says. She says, I'm living this battle right now. I am the victim, yet I've been treated like the problem while the criminal, a local doctor, is being shielded by the very system that's supposed to protect us. I've tried to reach prosecuting attorney Daniel Shue, but he won't even accept a letter from me. My voice as the victim has been shut out. This is not just about me. This is about a system that protects offenders and rejects victims. Lives are at stake, including the lives of young children. The case is public information. And then she leaves the case number and it says transparency matters, accountability matters, victims matter. So I don't know how 2 months before that she was leaving a comment like that and then she approved the sentencing. I don't know. But, you know, then we get to the day before they were found. Neat says, in my experience, those agencies don't recommend placing people on those registries lightly. That's what I would think. That's exactly what I would think because that would be at least for 5, 10 years or a lifetime. So I wouldn't think so either. So that's why I don't know what happened on December the 2nd. It was the final hearing for their divorce, and on that hearing, they did say that the divorce was final, but they hadn't put in. Remember the case, those papers that I was just showing you guys? They hadn't uploaded the notes from that divorce hearing yet, and so he's saying that since it wasn't uploaded and signed and everything, that it's not final. So he should be considered a widower now, and that everything that he was giving her in the divorce, that, you know, that should be null and void now. But on the second, supposedly, since I don't have the notes, this is what's being said, is that he was awarded joint custody, and that the judge said that since he hadn't seen the kids in such a long time, that he was going to get them every 2 weeks to her 1 week. And so I don't know how that the paperwork that Nancy found, I don't know how that it could go from that to joint custody and him getting them for 2 weeks to her 1 week. And his lawyer was the one where I first found that out. He made a statement, and I'll read that to you guys next. Well, let me read you the Facebook post from the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office that first spoke about their murders. And it was on the 4th. To be so organized, guys, I get confused about what I want to say first and what order. So maybe I should focus on that too. But it says 12/4. See, and they're calling it a death investigation. It says on December 3rd, 2025, at around 9:30 a.m., SCSO dispatch received a call about a welfare check on the occupants of a residence, and it gives the address of the house that I just showed you guys. Bonanza PD was given the call as the address is in their city limits. SCSO deputies also went on the call with Bonanza PD to assist. Law enforcement could not get any response from the residents and continued to investigate. They were able to enter the home with the assistance of 2 workers at the home. Upon entering the home, they found 3 deceased individuals, a woman and 2 deceased children. It was apparent that the 3 had gunshot wounds. The woman was identified as Charity Bialis, 40. The children's identity is not being released. All 3 have been sent to the Arkansas Crime Lab for autopsy to determine exact cause of death. Search warrants have been written and executed, with more search warrants anticipated during the investigation. Interviews have taken place with more anticipated. Information is still being gathered. The investigation is ongoing. And it says anyone with information is asked to call the Fort Smith Sheriff's Office at 479-783-1051. And that number is across the bottom of the screen on my ticker, and it's also in my description. So please reach out. And what really makes this even worse is that her dad Randall and her son John, they found out by Facebook. people were contacting them on Facebook. And hey, Aaron, thank you so much. I um I have a lot of ADD traits. I think I've never been officially diagnosed, but my focus, it's hard to keep my focus and then everything comes in all at once. So I try my best, but so her dad and her adult son now, they found out people were contacting them on Facebook. And her dad said that he had to call a sheriff from a neighboring county that he went to high school with. And they put him in touch with the coroner. And the coroner told him that, that Charity was shot twice, once in the chest and once in the head, and that the babies were, you know, trigger warning, that the babies were shot in the chest. And so that's another reason that I don't think that this was a murder suicide. So that's another reason. And it's awful that that's the way that her family had to find out. Absolutely awful. And one place said that an emergency hearing was on the 3rd, and when they didn't show up, that's why the welfare check was called. But I only saw that in one place, and so I'm not too for sure about that. But now there are some videos of her family speaking, and I think that would be good for us to watch too. Let me see here.
Tonight we're learning more about the months leading up to the death of Charity Powell Bialis and her 2 young children.
The 3 deaths were reported on Wednesday in Bonanza, which is just south of Fort Smith. Court records outline a domestic violence case and a divorce filing earlier this year.
5 News reporter Bo Russell is here now with a closer look at that timeline. Bo?
Hey Morgan, hey Darren. Well, I've been going through police reports, court documents, and talking with Charity's family. We're learning tonight.
Let me read to you, Brett, what Dr. Bialis, what his lawyer said. Let me see here. It says, Mr. Bialis has been cooperative with law enforcement and fully supports the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office investigation. We hope that the Sheriff's Office finds the truth about what happened to Miss Charity Bialis and their children. Mr. Bialis was not responsible for the death of Miss Bialis nor his children's death, his attorney Michael Pierce told the Post. That's where I got this from. And also, I think it's really telling that he keeps using her name. Hey, Wolfie, good to see you. I think that it's telling that he uses her married name, which I have been using her maiden name everywhere that I can because she definitely wanted this divorce and she would have definitely wanted to go back to her maiden name. In my eyes and the way that it should be, the divorce was final. So that's why I've been calling her Charity Powell, but he always says Mrs. Bialis, which kind of makes me icky. But he added that his Mr. Bialis has been cooperative with law enforcement. He added that his client had given a voluntary interview and allowed access to anything requested by the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office in their investigation. Just a day before the 3 bodies were found, Charity had been in court with her ex-husband, where Randall was awarded joint custody of his children. Charity had sought sole custody using the choking incident earlier this year as a reason that the father should not have custody of his children. His children were set to be with him on a schedule of 2 weeks with Mr. Bialis and 1 week with Miss Bialis, Pierce said. At some time on or around December 3rd, the tragic event occurred before Mr. Bialis was able to receive his children back from their mother, he said. The children remained with their mother until they were to be returned to Mr. Randall Bialis on Friday, December 5th. He is now heartbroken that the return of his children were taken away from him. So, in my opinion, that yeah, Brad, that's what I thought too. And in my opinion, that's the first place that I had seen what had happened at the final divorce hearing. And in my opinion, he put that out so that he could, say that maybe that's why it was a murder suicide, that Charity didn't want the kids to go back to Randall on that Friday. But like John Lorden said, he said, well, why would she have taken their lives 2 days before? And also, I think he said the cops would have already came out with it long before now so that the community wouldn't be scared, you know?
That the day before Charity and her 6-year-old twins were found dead in her home, she was in court for her final divorce hearing. Court records show that on February 16th, Charity Powell Bialis called police reporting that her husband, Dr. Randall Bialis, assaulted her inside their home.
On February 16th, my son-in-law choked my daughter in front of her children, drug her down the steps, and he was arrested.
Bialis initially faced 4 charges and ultimately pleaded guilty to 1. On March 5th, Charity filed for divorce in Sebastian County. In that complaint, she asked for sole custody of the twins and wrote that there had been a history of violence in the home. Today, I spoke with Arkansas State Senator Terry Rice, who confirmed Charity came to him for help earlier this year, telling him she feared for her life and her kids.
If it hadn't been for him, she'd have probably been dead before now. But Senator Rice done everything he could.
On Tuesday, December 2nd, Charity and her husband met in Sebastian County Court for the final hearing in their divorce case. The next day, police found Charity and her twins shot dead inside their Bonanza.
So since that incident in February, like her family just said, she had been trying everything. She reached out to senators and she wrote that that comment under a newspaper post, and her Facebook is full of things that she'd been trying to do to keep them safe, and then this happened.
A home. On Thursday, a day after that discovery, Bialis and his attorneys filed a motion to dismiss the divorce. Charity's family says they still have not heard from law enforcement.
I had to contact the sheriff in another county that I know through high school to get him to even confirm that my daughter was dead. They would not even confirm to me that my daughter and grandchildren were dead.
The Sebastian County Sheriff's Office says they have not identified any suspects in this case, but also say they haven't ruled anyone out. Today, I asked the Sebastian County Circuit Clerk for documents related to the Bialis final divorce hearing. She directed me to the state's online court record system, but there are no entries from that hearing. I've also reached out to the office of Judge Shannon Blatz, who presided over the divorce, but have not yet received a response. Senator Rice tells me he believes it's important this case has as many eyes on it as possible to make sure justice is served. I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
Hopefully somebody can get the papers from the final divorce hearing. Sometimes they give things like that to the news, and if I filled out for it, they wouldn't give it to me. It's I think it's because they know that the news can sue them and get things like that, you know. I don't know for 100, but it's kind of weird to me. And this is another time that her family speaks out. They have been doing all they can, you guys. Bless their hearts. Seriously.
The damage is done.
It's been 2 days since tragedy struck the Powell family.
If I could, I'd give my mother a big hug and look at her in the eyes and tell her I loved her. Hold my baby brother and sister one more time, like I did the first day they was born. Tell them I loved them. I'll do anything I can to protect them.
All that's left is the idea of what should have been.
I would just love to hold my daughter and my grandchildren in my arms again and verify my love for them the way they loved me.
40-year-old Charity Powell and her 6-year-old twins were found shot to death in her home Wednesday morning, just 1 day after Charity's final divorce hearing.
She shot through the chest and then in the head.
And them babies are shot through the chest. That means one of them babies had to watch the other one, or however it went down.
Or maybe they watched their mother die, and then one of them got to watch the other one die.
John and Randy Powell say despite the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office not releasing any details, nor whether there is even a suspect in the triple homicide, there's no doubt in their mind who pulled the trigger.
Randall Bialis, he's a powerful and evil man. All he cares about is money and himself.
There was nobody else in the world that had any reason to harm her or those babies but him, and that was only for financial gain and for the hatred that he had.
Court documents reveal the violent, intense months leading up to the divorce between Charity and her then-husband, Randall Bialis. Charity was a victim of domestic violence at the hands of Randall. He pled guilty to a charge in October. Charity had also filed for custody of the two twins, as well as an order of protection. The day after they were found dead, Randall filed for the divorce to be dismissed, a deal the Powells say would have benefited Charity.
Looper Auction was supposed to sell the house within 60 days, and she got her new BMW, $10,000, and half the earnings that the property bought.
You know what we learned in True Crime 101 is to follow the money, right? And so if the house was to be sold in 90 days, I think he said, the house was worth $760,000 at least. I don't know if I told you guys that. And so that's a lot, you know? And I don't think it's a coincidence.
Which he would go to him. With her dead, now he gets to keep that, plus her insurance he had on her, her life insurance that he had on her. He's the only one that had anything to gain.
John Powell, sitting at the left of that kitchen table, was Charity's son, a half-brother to the twins.
Charity was my mother that loved me. I know she did. She had a heart for them babies. She was a good Christian woman that was baptized a few months ago. Them kids was precious, real precious. They were innocent.
Sitting to the right, her father. Together, they're the only two Powells.
Let me tell you something else that John said about the babies. He said that his little brother, he learned to play chess in 45 minutes. Like, I don't know the day, he was 6 years old. I don't know how many days or weeks it would take me as a 40-something-year-old to learn how to play chess, you know? And he said that his little sister, that she could paint pictures like a professional artist. And so I just wanted to share those two little tidbits with you guys. You guys know that I like to tell you about the victims, personal things about the victims, and that was the things that I remembered and I wanted to share with you guys.
Left.
One moment I'll be crying, and the next minute I'm mad, and I don't even know how to explain it. I never expected to ever have to go through something like this in my life.
They say up until the three were found dead, Charity did everything she could to survive.
My mother fought for 9 months, the last 9 months, to save her life and them babies. Nothing happened. Now all three of them's dead. She would have fought tooth and nail, which is why she may have been shot twice, to protect them babies. I know she went out with a fight.
I promise you.
Now, all they can do is fight for justice and try to protect themselves.
Well, I'm scared to death for my life at this point.
So now that takes us to the 9th is when the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office, they spoke about it again for the next time. So it said, and they're still saying death investigation in reference to the death investigation in Bonanza that has been ongoing since 12/3/25. SCSO is giving this update on the course and scope of the investigation. The information is as of today, 12/9, search warrants. 12 search warrants are in process. 6 search warrants have been served. More search warrants could be pending. Interviews. Numerous interviews have taken place, with more pending based upon information obtained through tips. A voluminous number of tips have been received. Each lead is being actively pursued. Agencies involved: Sebastian County Sheriff's Office, Arkansas State Police, Bonanza Police, Greenwood Police, Fort Smith Police, Sebastian County Prosecutor's Office. Assisting agencies: United States Secret Service, Homeland Security Investigations. The Secret Service, you guys, I think that they do a lot of the digital stuff, right? And Homeland Security, I'm not too for sure how they would be helping. But the more the better, especially in a town of 500 people, and I'm sure they're not used to cases like this. It says evidence. A large amount of evidence has been collected and is either processed or being processed. Crime lab. Autopsy. Autopsy preliminary results are still pending. Forensics on other evidence are still pending as well. Investigators are working hard to get answers, coming in early and staying late, but as in any major investigation, a thorough and proper investigation cannot be hurried or held to an exact timeline. The efforts of this office are to find the truth. We thank the public for all the tips which have been received. There is still no named suspect currently. So why are they? I don't know. I don't know why they're still calling it a death investigation. That I'm kind of stuck on that part of it. But you guys, today there was good news. They did, let me see exactly what it says. I have more to tell you guys, but they were just talking about the crime lab. But on the 17th, a Sebastian County judge ruled that the crime lab could release Charity to her adult son and Maverick and Ileana to their father. So he at least gets to hey Carl, good to see you. I think I did. Well, no, I don't. No, I sure didn't. I don't think. I'll have to do that right fast. Um, but at least he gets to give his mama a proper burial, and us that have lost parents, we know how how that means a lot to us. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, I forgot that you guys could do that too. Thank you so much. Hey, Miss Alma, good to see you. So good to see you. Um, and so that's good, that he was able to give her a proper burial. So that post was made on the 9th. And the next thing that happens on the 11th is Judge Blatt sends a letter to the 2 attorneys. And it says, "Dear Mr. Pierce and Mr. Parker, the court wants to advise counsel that on December 3rd, 2025, my trial court assistant received a phone call from the plaintiff's father, Randy Powell, who was irate and made accusations directed to the court. Specifically, Mr. Powell stated that the judge might as well have pulled the trigger herself, and the judge essentially killed his daughter and grandchildren. Mr. Powell also stated the court has blood on her hands and asked if the court was still going to keep him from his grandchildren. Following said phone call, the court filed an incident report with the Fort Smith Police Department. Yours truly, Shannon Blatt." Hey, I don't hold that against him at all. Bless his heart, which you cannot do things like that. You cannot do things like that. But I don't hold it against him. You did, Elma? I don't know. It did that to me the other day. It wouldn't let me chat when somebody turned that on, and I was already subscribed. YouTube needs to get their act together, man. So yeah, I don't blame him a bit for that. Not at all. So now I want to show you guys this video. It tells more than what we've heard so far, and I'm going to take us through timestamps here. And I think I should have it pulled up to the right place here. And I'll share that with you guys if you want to watch it later.
It's unclear if deputies believe those gunshots were fired by someone who was outside the home, or if perhaps Charity had harmed herself and her kids. Deputies say the Arkansas Crime Lab is working to determine that. Now, I spoke to John Powell, who is Charity's son, and Randy Powell, who is Charity's dad. I started our interview asking them what investigators have told them, and they told me that they have virtually heard nothing. They say they found out about the deaths on Facebook. But Charity's dad says he believes he knows an important detail about how his daughter's body was found. What have they told you about, and I know this is really difficult to talk about, and you probably didn't think a couple weeks ago that you'd be doing interviews like this, but what did they tell you about how Charity and the two kids were found in the home?
Nothing.
They haven't let us know anything about no details or nothing.
They told us nothing.
We found out that they were dead through Facebook, through people messaging us.
I found out from a sheriff of another county that I went to high school with. He called the coroner, and the coroner had him to tell me that the babies were shot through the chest and my daughter was shot through the chest and through the head.
The Sebastian County Sheriff's Office is running this investigation. They say they are following up on countless tips that have come in since Charity and the children's deaths. They say they're processing 12 search warrants right now. They may get more as this investigation continues. They haven't confirmed the details that Charity's dad talked about when he said that she was found with 2 gunshot wounds. Deputies say they are waiting for autopsy results to come back, as well as test results related to evidence that's been collected. What was Charity like for people who are just starting to see and hear about this story? I mean, we've heard a lot about the divorce that she went through and being the victim of domestic violence. What do you want people to know about her?
She was very loving. She loved everybody.
There is a TikTok that people are showing, and it was it's a video of, it happened in 2020, and John had went to lineman school, and he hadn't contacted his mom or Randall in the time that they thought he should have. So when he got home, that's what they decided to do. And he is slashing the tires of his truck, of John's truck, with one of the babies in his hands. And he had such rage that he couldn't even put the baby down before he did that. And that's what stands out in my mind. And Charity, it doesn't make her look really good either, because she says it's called parenting, bub, and she's trying to get his phone because she says she's going to have it shut off and stuff. But John said that it was because that they were both scared of Randall, and she was just doing what she had to do because she thought if she didn't, then it would put all of them at more risk, and so it makes him look bad. It makes Randall look real bad, in my opinion.
Body. No matter color, race, whether they were rich or poor, she loved everybody. Was a great mother and give all her love and time and compassion to those children. And she spent the last 9 months trying to save their lives. And nobody in Sebastian County would listen and do anything. There's stuff on her Facebook page where she wrote letters where the prosecuting attorney wouldn't even accept her letters from her or talk to her or anything. You can search her Facebook page and find that.
A key part of this story is the timing of when Charity and the kids were found dead on December 3rd, a day after Charity had a final court hearing related to her divorce from a man named Randy Bialis, who's a doctor and the father of the 2 children. Now, through his attorney, Randy Bialis has said that he had nothing to do with the deaths, and he's not a suspect, and he has not been arrested or charged in relation to these tragic deaths, and we don't know if someone came into the home to kill Charity and the kids. On the December 2nd hearing, Charity's family says a judge ruled that she would have to split custody with her estranged husband when it came to the kids. Court documents say they would also sell their physical assets and the money would be split. But as a reminder, police have not yet said anything about the manner of deaths here. Now, another important piece of context in talking about the divorce is that Randy Bialis pleaded guilty in October in connection to a case where he was accused of strangling Charity in front of the kids back in February. Charity filed for divorce shortly after in March. Now, I did have to ask Charity's family a very difficult question, and it's about a theory that's been speculated that this case could be the result of a murder-suicide following a difficult decision in a heated divorce case that went on for months, especially when it comes to the custody of the children. You know, the next question is not an easy one to ask, but since law enforcement haven't released any information, would know that she had a tough ruling in a custody situation on the day before that she was found. And it's been speculated by some that she might have done this to the young kids and then took her own life. Is there any possibility that could be what happened, or do you believe that someone came into this house and did this to Charity and the two young kids?
There's no way, God's green earth, that she did that to herself and those children. There is no way. They would like Randy Bialis and all the people that's got their pockets full of his money would like us to believe that. There's no way that happened. They got joint custody in the divorce case.
See, her dad was there at the final hearing before that, so he would know what happened. And he's saying that they did get joint custody, so I'm not sure. And also, you guys, I really think that, you know, the most plausible thing, you know, like I said, is to follow the money. But it is also kind of weird that two workers were at the scene and they're the ones that helped law enforcement get into the house too. You know, that's still kind of in my brain that's kind of you know.
I was there. She knew it was going to be tough times, and she also knew that it would be around the time that the court was finished, that something that they might lose their lives. The judge actually didn't want me even around them, so I wasn't even allowed to protect my family.
Even after Randall Bialis pled guilty to choking my mother in front of the children, I mean, he pled guilty to charges.
Sure did.
And they still granted joint custody.
That was because it was in October he pleads guilty, you know, after this horrific, you know, I've read the police report. I mean, it's just horrific what he was accused of doing. And then he pleads guilty in October. I saw his attorney said that he was going to get 2 weeks with the kids and then she would get 1 week with the kids.
Was a temporary basis. So the judge said he needed to catch up on the 9 months that he'd missed seeing them.
Randy Bialis pleaded guilty to domestic battery in the 3rd degree on October 6th of this year. He received a suspended sentence and he was fined $1,500. He was ordered to have no contact with Charity and he could only have contact with their children with court approval. Now, we don't know what role, if any, Charity's divorce and the history of being the victim of domestic violence played into whatever happened inside of that house. Dr. Bialis' attorney did send me a statement today in response to the accusations being made by Charity's family, where they claim that he has something to do with her death and the death of their children. Now, here's what Dr. Bialis' attorney said in response to that. Quote, "I represent Mr. Randall Bialis. Mr. Bialis has been cooperative with law enforcement and fully supports the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office investigation. We hope that the Sheriff's Office finds the truth about what happened to Mrs. Charity Bialis and their children. Mr. Bialis was not responsible for the death of Mrs. Bialis nor his children's deaths. Mr. and Mrs. Bialis had a full-day court hearing on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Mr. Randall Bialis was awarded joint custody, decision-making for the children's school and medical needs, and his children were set to be with him on a schedule of 2 weeks with Mr. Bialis and 1 week with Mrs. Bialis at some time on or around December 3rd, 2025. The tragic event occurred before Mr. Bialis was able to receive his children back from their mother. The Bialis children were not brought to the hearing by Mrs. Bialis, and she was ordered to provide them to Mr. Randall Bialis on Friday, December 5th, 2025. He is now heartbroken that the return of his children was taken away from him. Mr. Bialis has given a voluntary interview and has allowed access to anything requested by the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office in their investigation. Mrs. Bialis has made false accusations against Mr. Bialis in the past. Evidence of these prior false accusations can be found in her book that she published. The book that Charity wrote is called A Lifetime of Miracles, Transformation Through Tragedy. The lawyer also says he personally has a copy of that book in his possession. What was your mom's, how did she and Dr. Bialis come to be? That they were in a relationship and then got married? I mean, what was kind of the story of their relationship?
She was a nurse at the hospital, Mercy Hospital, and she told me herself that he flirted with her and even pinched her on the butt and done some other moves that she thought about filing the sexual harassment charges. But then he smooth talked her however he done it, and she started feeling sorry for him because he whined and cried that his wife had committed suicide, and she felt sorry for him and thought that she would try to console him, and it ended up a short time after that, they were in Mexico being married. Very short time afterwards.
Now, Charity and Dr. Bialis were actually married to each other twice. Court records show they divorced in 2012, and then they were married again in 2015, and that is when they had the 2 children who were killed inside of the home. This is a picture of Shauna Bialis.
I have more to tell you guys about Shauna too in just a few minutes, and it's very, very interesting. Miss Elma, that is so, so, so very kind of you. I've never received either one of those. I will send it to you in just 1 second. I'm really excited because I've never received anything like that. Thank you so much, so very much.
She died in 2012 at the age of 34. Various outlets are reporting that she took her own life with a gun. Dr. Bialis was never charged in that case, and police reportedly ruled her death a suicide. We found her obituary that describes her as someone who had fun living life. It lists Dr. Randy Bialis as one of the people she was survived by. Now, according to her family, Charity spent the past 9 months living with fear after being the victim of domestic violence. Arkansas State Senator Terry Rice told 5 News, a TV station in Arkansas, that Charity had reached out for help to get protection earlier this year.
She talked to state senators, tried to get a hold of governors.
She wrote letters to the governors, senators, attorney general, everybody else, and sent them all the paperwork that she had up to that date, the conviction, everything. Some tried to help, but, we don't know exactly who.
Her family says that Charity had a goal of one day becoming a victim's advocate for other women who have been impacted by domestic violence, but now she will not get the chance to do that. It does appear that Charity's relationship, the one that led to her divorce, was toxic, to say the least.
Give me your phone. I'm shutting it off.
Here comes the next one. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Gonna be in the parent, buddy. My truck in my name. Yep. I paid for it.
Yep. Give me that phone.
This is a video clip that has since gone viral on Facebook. It was posted all the way back in 2020, and it reported...
Yes, see, this is the one I was telling you guys about. And after this, John actually filed for emancipation from them both, and he did get that. So he wanted to go through with all of that, even though it was just a few months before his 18th birthday. So it was because of this that he filed for emancipation.
shows Charity and Dr. Bialis in a confrontation with a man, and this video is posted on an account with someone by the name of Lonnie Mitz on Facebook. Now, the poster writes, quote, "This is Dr. Randall Scott Bialis and his wife Charity disciplining her son for not returning a text as soon as they thought he should. They appear in court in the morning to decide custody of the 17-year-old and the two babies seen in the video. Please share this, as those two shouldn't be in charge of a pet, much less children." Now, on May 20th of that year, not long after that video was posted, John Powell, Charity's son, who we spoke with, filed an emancipation document asking that he get the rights of an adult. He was slated to turn 18 a few months after that incident. In his request, he stated, quote, that on the 14th day of May 2020, that Charity Bialis and Randy Bialis did take a knife or ice pick and slashed and ruined the tires of John Randall Powell's 2005 Ford F-150 vehicle, that he bought the vehicle, and the same is titled in his name. That John Randall Powell has a video of Charity Bialis and Randy Bialis doing the same. John, I know there's a video that's been going around the internet showing a interaction where I believe it shows Dr. Bialis and he has like an ice pick or something going into a Ford like F-150's tire. What happened there?
So I was living with him at the time, and me as well as my mother were pretty scared for our lives, you know, because he's very controlling and abusive. He would persuade her and tell her every move to make and everything to do when he would get mad about anything. So he pretty much made her go to stab the first tire, and she couldn't do that. And then that's when you see him come right after behind her with another knife and taunt me with it and go to stabbing my tires over something that wasn't even a big deal, just because he got mad and was just being controlling and trying to prove his point, I guess, that he's in control and nobody can stop him.
Randy, when you were at the custody hearing on Tuesday, just what stood out to you about Dr. Bialis at that hearing and the way that he acted?
Everything. Hatred for my daughter and my family.
Randy Bialis has not been named in connection to the death of Charity Bialis, but he is an admitted domestic abuser involved in a brutal divorce. Those are facts in this case. Now, the day after Charity and the kids' bodies were found, Dr. Bialis' attorney filed a motion to dismiss the divorce proceedings. Then, an attorney for John Powell filed a motion to intervene, asking the court to undo the dismissal of the divorce to allow him to become the administrator of Charity's estate. Then Dr. Bialis' attorney responded to that, saying that the divorce dismissal should be kept in place, writing, "If a party dies after the divorce hearing but before the written decree is entered, the divorce proceeding generally terminates and the surviving spouse is considered a widow or widower, not a divorcee. The court loses jurisdiction over the marriage and related property matters because legally there is no longer a marriage to dissolve," end quote. According to Charity's son's attorney, along with the custody of the children being
and he filed that paperwork the day after the bodies were found too. So he was in a real hurry to do that. And when I tell you what happened to his first wife, they were going through a divorce too, and he asked to call his lawyer while she was still upstairs deceased. That fast. He wanted to call his divorce lawyer and put a stop to things.
Determined at that December 2nd hearing. When it came to assets between Charity and Dr. Bialis, they agreed to a sale of real property and each party to keep their own vehicle. Now, I do need to note that the latest entry into court records when it comes to this divorce case between Dr. Randy Bialis and Charity Bialis involves Randy, who is Charity's dad, who you saw us interview. Now, this is a letter that is addressed to the attorneys for Charity's son and Dr. Bialis, and this is what it reads, quote, "The court wants to advise counsel that on December 3rd, 2025, my trial court assistant received a phone call from the plaintiff's father, Randy Powell, who was irate and made accusations directed to the court. Specifically, Mr. Powell stated that the judge might as well have pulled the trigger herself and that the judge essentially killed his daughter and grandchildren. Mr. Powell also stated the court has blood on her hands and asked if the court was still going to keep him from his grandchildren. Following said phone call, the court filed an incident report with the Fort Smith Police Department, end quote. Now, again, this case that is playing out, whatever the reality is of the tragedy that took place inside that home, there is a lot of emotion that is going on, and you could feel that emotion in talking to Charity Bialis' dad as well as her son. And as I finished my interview with John and Randy, I asked them about the two people in this case who should receive the most attention, and that's the young boy and the young girl, 6-year-old twins who were found dead alongside their mom. What do you want people to know about them?
That they were very smart and very, very precious and innocent. I mean, the little boy learned how to play chess in 45 minutes, and the girl at 6 years old could draw and paint pictures like a professional.
And they were very, very loving of other people and so pleasant, had a real bright light to shine. We went to their church Sunday. They invited us up there, and they were loved by all. The whole congregation was just beside herself in tears and mourning over them. And
I think that, okay, Carl, I hope you have a good day. I think that that's all that I wanted to share with you guys on that part, but I wanted to tell you guys about Shauna before we go. I believe that she was Randall's second wife. And so I wanted to share with you guys about her too. She was beautiful too. She was a 34-year-old nurse back in 2012. And like I said, they were going through a divorce too. And this is her. Let me see here. And she had one daughter. And these women with kids, I don't think that they would do that. You know, I really don't. So let me play this video for you guys that I found. And also, John Lorden pointed this out. It says Shauna was a loving mother, precious daughter, and sister. It doesn't say anything about a wife, right? And he shared this of her tombstone, and it says Bella Grace, which was her daughter, was the light of her life. She was a loving mama, sister, daughter, aunt, and friend. And it doesn't say anything about a wife on there either. And this news, there's not a whole lot of articles about her. I'm going to play you one newscast that I found, but it was showing these papers, and I did zoom in and screenshot, and I'm not too good to do that, I'll tell you. But there is a few things that I wanted to point out, like right here it says, we began speaking to Randy about the last time he spoke with Shauna. He said he thought it was sometime around 10 a.m. He said he left for work and then called Shauna to check on her. She told him she was going to kill herself. He then heard her pull the trigger on the gun several times. Randy said he had replaced the bullets in the gun with plastic bullets. He told us he got upset and said she got upset and said she was going to Walmart to buy real bullets. Randy then returned to the house to check on Shauna. He said she was in the bedroom and would not let him go get close to her. When he would try to go in, she would tell him not to come any closer. Randy estimated he was at the house for around 4 hours trying to talk her down. He said he got a bad headache and thought she was calm, so he returned to work. Randy then said he came back home later to check on her. He said he was on the phone with Freddie Rosario when he entered the house. Oh, so he happened to be on the phone with somebody who could back up what he was saying, right? And found her. He asked us for his cell phone so that he could call his lawyer to stop divorce papers from being sent in the mail. We told him to stay off the phone. So I thought that was very interesting. There we go. Oh, we gotta watch an ad. And it's 30 seconds too. Sorry, guys. For 10 more seconds. There we go.
Out of Sebastian County investigators into the shooting deaths of Charity Bielis and her twin children. And as we're left waiting, many are now asking, should investigators possibly reopen another shooting case that also has direct ties to Charity's now ex-husband? Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Doug Warner.
And I'm Allie Lynch. 13 years ago, Randall Bielis' previous wife was found shot to death. Enforcement police ruled it a suicide. But we wanted to know if Charity's death gives cause to reopen this past case. KNWA's Dylan Neuter joins us now in studio. And Dylan, as you started looking into this, you quickly discovered the death of Shauna Bielis was looked into a second time just a few years ago.
That's right, Doug. Allie, just today we received a limited number of investigation documents from Portsmouth Police that revealed Shauna's case was re-examined in 2021. That raised the question as to why police took a second look at the case. Let's just start right at the beginning. According to the initial incident report in early 2012, Portsmouth Police responded to the home of Randall and Shauna Bielis. The police report found Randall at the front door saying she killed herself. They also noted some furniture and other items scattered around the home. When police went upstairs, they found Shauna in their bed with an apparent gunshot wound. Randall later claimed Shauna had mentioned earlier in the day she was going to kill herself. After the medical examiner report came in within days, Portsmouth Police ruled it a suicide. Shauna's family tells us they disputed the findings for over a year, but had no choice but to accept the outcome, which brings us to 2021. Another case document reveals the case was re-examined by police due to new information given to the Bonanza Police Department. It reads that Charity Bielis' own father, Randy Powell, told police.
So this was another part that I had zoomed in on, and he says when the news reached out to him to ask him if he said this, he said that he only told the police that Charity knew who killed Shauna, not that she was involved. But I'll show you guys that screenshot too after this.
That Charity was involved in Shauna's death. Today we called Randy Powell to ask him about this. He says he never said his daughter was involved, only that she knew who did it. So this brings us back to that original question. Would Fort Smith police consider reopening Shauna Bielis' case? I reached out to FSPD, but I'm still awaiting the answer to that question. However, if they did, they may have a hard time doing so, since by court order, all the actual evidence was destroyed in 2014 since the case was deemed closed. Doug, Allie, back to you.
Yeah, so all the evidence was deleted only 2 years later. So that was very disheartening too. Hopefully there is still something that can be done on her case too. I'll show you the screenshot that I zoomed in where it talks about, let me see. Officer Hill sent us videos from her body-worn camera that were of an incident involving Mr. Randy Bielis and his current wife, Charity Bielis, at their house in Bonanza. During their investigation, they ended up speaking to Randy Powell, who is the father of Charity Bielis. He told her that his daughter Charity had told him that she is the one who shot Shauna and that she was glad the detectives did not fingerprint a wine glass that she had been drinking out of while she was at the residence. So that was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. I haven't seen a lot more reports about that part of it, but like I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I was glad to hear today that they had awarded John his mother's body. So that is a move in the right direction, and hopefully after that, it's only up from here. You know. But I did leave if you know anything about this case, I did leave the resource numbers in my description. So please, please, please reach out to them. Now I wanted to tell you guys about, we get to the good part now, right? We listen to the bad and then we get to the good part. And I want to tell you guys about it was a mama in 1983 in Louisville, Kentucky. It was Deborah Newton. Her name was Deborah, and her husband's name was Joe. And they had a 3-year-old, Michelle, and they lived in Louisville, but they were going to be moving to Atlanta, Georgia. Well, Deborah and Michelle were supposed to go ahead of Joe and set up the house and things like that, right? Well, he gets down there and they're nowhere to be found. And she is put on the FBI's 8 most wanted parental abduction sites, and they're on there for all this time, right? Well, in 2024, NCMEC, they make this age progression of Michelle, and you know how they do, and I thank them so very much for that. NCMEC is a great organization. Well, after that comes out this past November, look what happens. Deborah is caught, and she's going by a different name, Sharon, and she is caught and charged with what was it exactly? Custodial interference. And I wanted to show you guys how Michelle got to meet her dad after all this time. And I wanted to show you guys that.
I just want to move forward and learn my family and learn my history and who I am.
A Louisville woman reunited with her family decades after her disappearance. Melissa Newton's mother faces charges tonight for abducting her daughter. Deborah Lee Newton appeared in a Jefferson County courtroom 2 weeks after her arrest in Florida. Only DeAndrea Turner sat down today with Melissa and family members who never gave up. DeAndrea?
That's right, Vicki. Tonight, what was once a cold case became a warm reunion. This story is about reuniting, forgiveness, and moving forward.
She's always been in our heart. I can't explain that.
And I'm not sure if it's this video or another video I saw about this case, but her dad had even went on the news back in the 80s to try to help find her. So I have no doubt that she was on his mind still, even after all these years. Bless his heart.
Moment walking in and get to put my arms back around my daughter.
43 years of waiting.
And it's hard to look at her as an adult. When I last seen her, she was a 3-year-old.
For an emotional reunion with his missing daughter, Michelle. We spoke to Joe Newton in 1986 about the case.
Wouldn't you want your child back, at least to see her grow up or, to help her?
In 1983, Joe and his wife, Deborah, were planning to move to Georgia. Deborah left early with their daughter, Michelle. But when Joe arrived, they were gone. And for more than 4 decades, there were no answers.
I've missed them so much, and I didn't even know if she was alive.
A Crime Stoppers tip cracked this case this year, leading to Deborah's arrest in Florida and her first court appearance in Jefferson County on Monday.
For an individual
to have the courage to come up and say, I saw this. This is, I believe, who you're looking for. You are helping a victim and a victim's family so much.
2 weeks ago, Michelle came home from work to police at her door, saying the unthinkable.
You're not who you think you are. You're a missing person. You're Michelle Marie Newton.
In one moment, she went from an only child to discovering an entire family waiting for her. When she and her father finally met, Joe was on the porch waiting.
I wouldn't trade that moment for anything. It was
No.
just like I seen her when she was first born. It was like an angel.
And even with her life upended, her response wasn't anger.
My intention is to support them both through this and try to navigate and help them both just wrap it up so that we can all heal, and hopefully, you know, there's just apologies and start healing.
So she wants to support both her parents, and I can't imagine what that's like for her to be in a situation like that. But apologies isn't going to cut a father missing out 40 years of his daughter's life, you know?
Starting a new chapter of forgiveness and moving forward.
And it's still hard to believe that we actually got her back in our life again. And it's a sweet ending.
And you guys, Joe says that he has had 2 miracles this year. First, the heart transplant, the reason why he's still here, and then getting to reunite with his daughter. Deborah will be back in court next month. In the studio, DeAndrea.
And he just had a heart transplant, you guys. Oh my goodness. Well, bless them all. Van, will you drop your link and Trista's link to you guys? Van's channel is absolutely wonderful, and if you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe to her. And she is all ask her any questions too about her photos that she posts or her videos, and if she doesn't know, she'll definitely find out for you. And I know she doesn't care a bit. She posted something the other day of a moon or a sun rainbow, and I had never even seen such. Or was it a moon rainbow? It was a rainbow around it, and I was like, whoa, I had never seen such before, but it was really, really cool. And I know, me either. Yep, and Trista's channel too, you guys. She is another one of my moderator and friends, and she posts a devotional every single day on her community tab. So if you subscribe to her, hopefully that will get in your settings too. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me today. Sunbow. Yep, a sunbow. And you guys have made my first live back great. And I want to thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming every time, but especially today. It meant a whole lot. I was apprehensive about it, you know, since the last time I was here, you know, was before what happened with my dad. And so I really, really appreciate that, you guys. So thank you so very much. And if there's ever any cases that you think that we could spread awareness for, please don't hesitate to email me. And we absolutely will. I don't care to look into anything that you guys would like to go over, or anything at all like that. Okay, I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to say your prayers and take your vitamins. We need to get through the winter, you guys, and we need to take our vitamins. Speak to your doctor about it first, of course. But spring will be here before we know it, right? Okay, I love you guys.